Good evening, and thank you for being in attendance for our meeting today. And at this time, I would like to call to order the regular meeting of the San Bernardino International Airport Authority. Today is Wednesday, August the 28th, 2024, and it's approximately 5:03 p.m. Madam Clerk, if you would please.
Certainly. Please state your name for the record. Member from the City of Colton.
Frank Navarro.
Member from the City of Loma Linda.
Dusty Rigsby.
Member from the County of San Bernardino, 3rd District.
Dawn Rao.
Member from the the City of Highland.
Penny Loburn.
And members from the City of San Bernardino.
Helen Tran, and we have our alternate, Mayor Pro Tem Fred Charette.
Thank you so much. And I'd like to also state for the record that Mayor Pro Tem John Echevarria is in the audience, as well as Mayor Pro Tem Larry McCallum. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, do we have any requests for public comment on closed session items?
No, sir.
Thank you. At this time, I'll ask our legal counsel to read us into closed session, please.
Thank you, sir. We have 3 items to discuss in closed session, all 3 of them pending litigation. Pursuant to Government Code 54956.9, subsection A, which applies to all 3 of them, the Commission will meet with the Chief Executive Officer and General Counsel related to pending litigation. The first matter is Hinojosa versus San Bernardino International Airport, Inc. The second one is Franco versus San Bernardino International Airport Authority. And the third one is Lee versus San Bernardino International Airport Authority.
Thank you, Mr. Huber. We will now adjourn to closed session and reconvene shortly. Thank you. We will reconvene our meeting, and I'll ask our legal counsel to read us out of closed session, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As to all 3 items, there was no reportable action taken in closed session. Direction was given.
Thank you very much. We will now call to order the open session of our meeting. And if I could please have Councilmember Sanchez read the pledge, do the pledge.
You can all stand. Put your right hand over your heart, face the flag. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mr. Sanchez.
Thank you.
Madam Clerk, could you please do roll call?
Yes, of course. Please state your name for the record. Member from the City of Colton.
Frank Navarro.
Member from the City of Loma Linda.
Dusty Rigsby.
Member from the County of San Bernardino, 3rd District.
Dawn Rao.
Member from the City of Highland.
Penny Loburn.
And members from the City of San Bernardino.
Helen Tran.
Theodore Sanchez.
Thank you. And also again for the record, Mayor Pro Tem John Echevarria, Mayor Pro Tem Larry McCallum, and Councilmember Fred Charette are in the audience.
Thank you very much. Madam Clerk, do we have any items to be added or deleted from this agenda?
No, sir, there are not.
Thank you. Moving to item F, conflict of interest disclosure. Anybody have interest in disclosing conflict of interest? Hearing none, seeing none. If you should sort of discover that you need to conflict yourself out, please let the clerk know. Item G, informational items, and I will move this over to Mr. Burrows.
So I will quickly move it to Jonathan, who will give us an update on our FAA inspection.
Thank you, Mike, and good afternoon, Commission members. SBD is a certificated airport under the FAA, regulated under Part 139. This means that we must comply with particular FAA regulations to be able to operate the airport for passenger service. As a result, the FAA conducts annual inspections to ensure those regulations are being followed. The airport operations team leads the compliance effort on a daily basis and is supported by the maintenance team, the FBO, airport security, and county fire to maintain compliance. Some of the items the FAA inspects while they're on site are personnel training records, fuel trucks for safety, fuel farms, aircraft rescue fire trucks, SOPs, and of course the airfield, where they take a look at marking conditions, pavement conditions, runway and taxiway lighting, just to name a few. This year, our FAA inspection took place over the course of 2 days, August 6th and 7th. Our inspector described that he typically has 7 to 10 findings when he inspects an airport. A finding can be described as an area of improvement for an airport and can have a wide range in severity. Of course, the FAA is in the business for safety for aviation and strives to make an airport safer. It is no different with SBD, and we can admit there's always room for growth. With that said, I'm extremely proud and happy to report that we had only 3 minor findings for this year's annual FAA inspection. I'd like to extend a big thank you to our teams that undergo the heavy lifting for daily compliance and preparations for our inspection. Thank you to our ops team, our maintenance team, FBO, security, and our partners with County Fire for making this year's FAA inspection not only a successful one, but an easy one to pass. Thank you.
Thank you, Jonathan. Item C.
And appreciate the commission's support for our green energy element and our latest chapter of that in greening up our fleet. Wendy is now the proud owner of yet another electric tug. And keeping with the Luxair brand, she ensures that each of these wonderful workhorses are effectively named and branded. So have you chosen a name yet, Wendy?
You know, since Monette thinks that she's leaving us, we are decided to call it Momo. So it's going to be Momo, and that's going to be her little legacy left behind.
Okay. Very good, thank you.
That concludes our reports.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Moving on to item H, consent items 3 through 8. Chair will entertain a motion and a second to approve.
Move approval. Second.
Supervisor Rao and Mayor Tran.
Thank you.
Clerk?
We have a motion by Member Rao and a second by Member Tran. Please say your votes for the record. Member Navarro?
Yes.
Member Rigsby?
Yes.
Member Rao?
Yes.
Member Lilburn?
Yes.
Member Tran?
Yes.
And Member Sanchez.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, everybody. Commission items, item I, number 9, is consider and adopt a resolution 2024-03 of the San Bernardino International Airport Authority changing time of the regular meeting to the SBIAA Commission and amending resolution number 2023-04. Mr. Huber.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So this is an item that came back and has been discussed previously regarding the desired start time of these meetings. The most recent change occurred on July 28th of 2023 when the commission adopted a resolution to change the regularly scheduled meeting from 3 o'clock to 5 o'clock. At the last meeting, there was a discussion about this item, and as I understand, no decision was made, but at the very end, it was requested that we put this item back on the agenda for consideration by the commission. And so the item is here for your consideration. There's a resolution attached. You'll note that on the resolution there is a blank mark as to what time the meeting will begin. You are free to set that time. Actually, I believe I take that back. It was inserted. The one that I was looking at had a blank in there. Oh wait, that was back. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, you didn't. I'm sorry about that. I'm looking at where's the next page? There it is. There is a blank in there for, and it's highlighted for you to select what time these meetings will begin. And this is the part of the meeting where you can discuss what works best for you. And this does require a motion and a second and a majority vote to change the current practice.
Thank you, Mr. Huber. Comments from commissioners at this time? Mr. Sanchez?
I'll just move to table the item.
I'm sorry, to table the item? Okay. I have a motion to table the item. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second from Mr. Rigsby. Madam Clerk, would you please do the vote?
Thank you. We have a motion to table the item. Motion was made by Member Sanchez and a second by Member Rigsby. Please state your votes for the record. Member Navarro?
Yes.
Member Rigsby?
Yes.
Member Rao?
No.
Member Lilburn?
Yes.
Member Tran?
No.
And Member Sanchez.
Theodore?
Yes.
Thank you.
The motion does pass 4-2.
Thank you. Moving on to item number 10. This is to approve contract amendment number 3 to the multi-year contract with CNA Janitorial LLC in an amount not to exceed $422,643 with a 10% contingency for unforeseen janitorial services to various San Bernardino International Port Authority owned facilities. Mr. Galvan, please.
Thank you, Mayor. We currently have a multi-year contract for janitorial services with CNA Janitorial LLC, a 3-year agreement with 2 one-year options. The contract was approved during the meeting of November 24th, 2021. It is noteworthy that this took place prior to airline services taking place at SBD. Since then, the contract has been amended 2 separate times to accommodate the increased need of services at various facilities, including the passenger terminal and the office space at the UAS Center. We're nearing the end of the original term of 3 years of the agreement and are requesting a 3rd amendment to exercise the 1-year option extension and increase the contract by $422,643 plus the 10% contingency for a total increased contract amount of $464,907 to fund these services. The bid tabulation listed on page 208 of your packet provides a cost breakdown by by location, as well as the estimates for any unplanned services. Staff requests the commission approve this item and authorized all related documents. I may take any questions at this time.
Thank you. Comments or questions from commissioners on this item? Penny?
No, I'll move the item.
Okay,
Second.
okay. Did you get it, Madam Clerk? Thank you.
I did, thank you. We have a motion by Member Lilburn and a second by Member Sanchez. Please state your votes for the record. Member Navarro?
Yes.
Member Rigsby?
Yes.
Member Rao?
Yes.
Member Lilburn?
Yes.
Member Tran?
Yes.
And Member Sanchez.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to item number 11. This is to approve Knuckles Oil Company Incorporated, DBA Merit Oil Company, as the service provider of gasoline and red dye diesel in an amount not to exceed $310,000 during the 24-25 fiscal year. Wendy McConaughey, please.
Thank you, Commissioners. Lexavera SBD purchases unleaded and red dye diesel fuels for our ground service equipment and fuel trucks. We also provide the service of refueling ground support equipment for the mini cargo and MRO tents at the airport. Staff solicited 3 competitive proposals, of which Merit Oil is the lowest cost supplier of red dye diesel and gasoline. We are asking for approval of Knuckles Oil Company, DBA Merit Oil Company, as the service provider of such fuel in the amount not to exceed $310,000 during the 2024 and 2025 fiscal year. Thank you.
Thank you. Comments or questions from the commissioners? Seeing none, Chair will entertain a motion on item number 11.
Motion for approval?
Mayor Tran,
Second.
Councilmember Sanchez.
Thank you. We have a motion by Member Tran and a second by Member Sanchez. Please state your votes for the record. Member Navarro?
Yes.
Member Rigsby?
Yes.
Member Rao?
Yes.
Member Lilburn?
Yes.
Member Tran?
Yes.
And Member Sanchez.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item number 12 is to approve a lease agreement with Aloft Aviation Services LLC for hangar number 333. Mr. Hale, if you would please.
Good evening. Yes, submitting for commission approval of a lease agreement with Aloft Aviation Services, LLC for Hangar 333. The proposed lease with Aloft would include approximately 21,380 square feet of hangar number 333 located at 3005 East U Street in the general aviation area of the northeast portion of the airport. Aloft is an FAA Part 135 private air carrier with operations in South Carolina. This agreement would facilitate Aloft's operations and expand the company's presence at SBD. Staff recommends to approve a lease agreement with Aloft and authorize the Chief Executive Officer to execute all related documents subject to technical and conforming changes as approved by legal counsel. Approval of this item will result in an approximately $52,000 increase in estimated net revenues for fiscal year 2024-25. Background information: Aloft Aviation Services has been storing aircraft at the San Diego International Airport as a subtenant of executive jet maintenance since earlier this year. Aloft has been interested in leasing former Norton Air Force Base hangar number 333, which had been formerly occupied by Unical Aviation, which lease has now been terminated as of its own terms and conditions. As an FAA Part 135 and Part 145 certificated company. Aloft specializes in aircraft charter operations and is seeking to occupy number 333 to support its continued growth. Currently based in Spartanburg, South Carolina, the new lease would mark the company's West Coast expansion. As a condition precedent to execution of this lease, the company would be required to make appropriate filings with the state of California and obtain a business license from the city of San Bernardino. Proposed principal lease terms and conditions by and between SBIAA and Aloft are as follows. Commencement date, as soon as September 1, 2024. Premises, again, 21,380 square feet of hangar space. Aircraft and ramp and apron area of approximately 44,838 square feet. Lease term 5 years with 1 5-year option to extend. 3% fixed annual rent escalations. A security deposit equal to 1 month's rent upon execution of lease. The monthly lease revenue of $8,552 per month it equates to $102,624 annually. Estimated net monthly rent after improvement offset would be $5,218.67. That would be $62,624 annually. Aloft to maintain all portions of the premises and pay all utility usage charges. Aloft will commit at its own cost and expense certain tenant and building improvements, including restroom upgrades, roof repairs, hangar floor repair and painting, hangar door repairs, LED lighting upgrades, exterior apron repairs, and seal coating. Tenant improvements to be amortized and offset over the initial term based on actual verified costs in an amount not to exceed $200,000. Aloft to pay all possessory interest taxes and maintain commercial general liability and hangar keepers insurance coverage, naming SBIAA as an additional insured. Aloft will maintain an active certificate during the term pursuant to Title 14 of the Code and federal regulations, for Part 135 and Part 145. Aloft to comply with all laws, airport, FAA, and TSA rules and regulations. And that's the end of my presentation.
Thank you. Comments, questions from commissioners? Hearing none, the chair will entertain a motion. On
Motion for
item number
approval.
12.
Motion.
Motion by Mayor Tran, second by Councilmember Gilbert.
Thank you. We have a motion by Member Tran and a second by Member Lilburn. Please state your votes for the record. Member Navarro?
Yes.
Member Rigsby?
Yes.
Member Rao?
Yes.
Member Lilburn?
Yes.
Member Tran?
Yes.
And Member Sanchez?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to item number 13, approve a lease agreement with Worldwide Wings LLC for building number 339. Mr. Hale.
Okay. The proposed lease with Worldwide Wings would include approximately 8,397 square feet of building number 339 located at 2885 U Street in the general aviation area of the northeast portion of the airport. Worldwide Wings is an FAA Part 141 flight school. This agreement would facilitate their continued operations and expand the company's presence at SBD. It's recommended to approve a lease agreement with Worldwide Wings for building number 339 and authorize the Chief Executive Officer to execute all related documents, subject to technical and conforming changes as approved by legal counsel. Fiscal impact would be approval of this item would result in $77,870 increased in estimated revenues for fiscal year 24 and 25. Background information is Worldwide Wings has been operating a flight school and pilot training facility at the airport since 2016. As an FAA Part 141 and Part 145 certificated company, Worldwide Wings specializes in pilot training and certification and repair station services. The company is seeking to extend the term of its lease and continuous occupancy of Building 339 to support its continued growth and operations. Principal terms and conditions are as follows. Commencement date, September 1, 2024. Premises, again, 8397 square feet of building space. Aircraft ramp consisting of tie-down areas adjacent to the building. Lease term, 5 years with a 2-year option to extend. 3% fixed annual rent escalation. Security deposit, they currently have a $10,727 amount currently on file. Monthly lease payments of $7,787 per month, which equates to $93,444 annually. Worldwide Wings to maintain all portions of the premises and pay all utility usage charges. Worldwide Wings to pay all possessory interest taxes, maintain commercial general liability and hangar keepers insurance coverage, naming SBIAA as an additional insured. Worldwide Wings will maintain an active flight school certificate during the term pursuant to Title 14 of the Code of Federal Regulations, WWW, to comply with all laws, airport, FAA, and TSA rules and regulations. And that's the end of my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much. On item 13, Chair will any comments or questions from Commissioners? None. Then Chair will entertain a motion.
Move for approval?
Second.
Supervisor Rao and Sanchez.
Thank you. We have a motion by Member Rao and a second by Member Sanchez. Please state your votes for the record. Member Navarro?
Yes.
Member Rigsby?
Yes.
Member Rao?
Yes.
Member Lilburn?
Yes.
Member Tran? And Member
Yes.
Sanchez.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Item 14, this is the review status action report. Mr. Burrows.
Yeah, I'll just leave you on one really positive note. Really pleased to report that the AOA Access Road project looks like it's going to be done early, and really want to thank the entire team for staying the course out there. It's looking really good, and FAA will be working with us to button that one up, so appreciate your support on that. That concludes our report.
Thank you very much. Madam Clerk, do we have any added or deferred items?
No, sir, we do not.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, do we have any requests for public comment?
No, sir, we do not.
Thank you very much. Commission member comments, please.
I just wanted to announce that the Highland is having their State of the Community address tomorrow, and welcome all of you.
Thank you. There be no other comments or questions or other business to attend to for the airport? We are adjourned. Our next meeting will be September the 25th, 2024.